So in association with Simoto, it's Mini Bike 140 Heat 1 and Rhys Stevenson on pole position from Will Lathrop, Ben Lord, Mick Lord in 4th place, Richard Holmes Williams a bit further behind in 6th place. Aaron Sadler 7th from Michael Med, Dan Merrin and Stuart Harbin running out the top 10, Ryan Clark and Gary Jacobs. 13th for Adam Redding from Tom Stanford, Bobby King, Steve Merrin, Mark James Cockfield and Chris Edwards in 18th position. 19th for Ian Stanford from Rob Overend, Max Parry, Ian Blatchford, Dan Baker, Tony Reveley just a little bit further behind. Darren Coleman, Ben Riley, Ian Gamble, Jamie Merchant, Warren Greenland and Charlie Denton 30th. And the rest of the field made up of Stephen Blatchford, Daniel Pearson and Danny Cohn with Mo Time starting at the back of the field. So as they make their way out for their sighting lap there, Durban, looking at Will Lathrop there, of course, a rider who's been dabbling with the 600 class in BSB, the likes of that, and of course it's one of the things with the young riders, sometimes a struggle just to get the money together to do these things, so he's certainly come back here to BMB and showcasing his talent so far. Yeah,
a good rider, really strong rider, really confident. Him and his brother actually are both really competitive in the classes that they ride in, and you can see that he's got talent. If you've been on the track with him and he's overtaking you, he doesn't hang around. So really talented rider, and it is expensive, you know, going to ride big bikes. So this is the platform to come and have some fun. And when the likes of that level of rider come down, it just raises the bar for everybody else.
Yeah, there's certainly some big names at the front here. Ryan Ty's also looking strong as well. There's another rider who's had a good season, and likes of Jim Lovell as well. All these big names all qualifying well, and we saw here last year at Lydd there was some real no quarter given racing here, so I think we could be in for another good one.
Yeah, this class ordinarily throws up good results and a good racing, and as someone's broken down, that's Mark Hedling, I think the name is, broken down on the outlap, which is a bit unusual, but you can see here with Rhys Stevenson again back on the track at the front, Ben Lord in 3rd place and his brother Mick, who's promised me he's going to a top 2 or a podium finish this weekend, so I'll be holding him to that. And then obviously Will at the front as well, so it's going to be really competitive race.
Rhys Stevenson, an exciting rider to watch. I remember at the first championship round, as it were, at Red Lodge, he had that nasty crash, of course. I think he was battling with Pete Hickman.
Pete Hickman, yeah, he took the front into the tyre wall, didn't he? But you know, he's gone on to good things this year with him riding in the British Talent Cup, and he's you know, gone from quite low down to the top 10 finishes now, I think 5th and 6th place, so he's had a really good season this year.
And he's made it tough stuff, because I remember him walking past the commentary booth after his bike, and his arm was all cut up and he was all bashed and bruised, but it didn't really seem to bother him because he got straight back on the bike, and he wouldn't have thought he'd been gambolling off the track into the barriers.
No, he's a kid who likes to race, and he likes to race fast, and this class for him is it's a bit of a proving ground. You know, this is where some of the fast boys really battle, so hopefully it's going to be a great race.
So some real races you would say here as the flag's about to drop, and away they go. Looks like a good start. Stevenson gets the drive into the first corner. Will Lathrop tried to challenge for the lead there, but holds on to 2nd place. Everyone appears to have got through the first chicane. Okay, so there is Will Lathrop. Two of the young chargers really pulling away slightly there from Mick Lord, Bobby King, Richard Holmes Williams also with a good start. Aaron Sadler, Michael Med all in there. So Will Lathrop actually we'll wait for not showing on our timing charts there, Rhys Stevenson, but he is leading the race. Will Lathrop 2nd place as they all make their way through. Good clean start. Everyone appears to have stayed out of trouble on that first half lap, but Stevenson leads them into the final corner. Lathrop 2nd, Ben and Mick Lord right in there as well. Round the final corner they go. Well, this is a great start here, Dave. All of the big names all getting away well. Yeah, they've all got away well. Mick Lord's living up to his promise to me that he's going to finish in the top 3 with his brother behind him. Hopefully he doesn't punt him off. But it's a good start. And Richard Holmes Williams, I think he'll come back. He's obviously had a slow start, but on his mini pit, I think he'll be back up there fighting for top 3 spots by the end of this race as well. Well, everyone running strongly. We'll wait, of course, if you're watching this at home, look out for the 25, Rhys Stevenson. He's actually at the front of the field, so that will update itself as the race goes on. And there he is. You don't need the timing charts to see him. There he is, the 1, 2, 3 coming into the final corner. But Will Lathrop having a look here as they make their way down towards the final corner. Lathrop's got a good line out to the final corner, but Stevenson's done enough to hold on to the lead. 0.2 of a second covering the first 2. Oh, it looked like Stevenson a little bit squirrely through the chicane, allowing Lathrop to close up. Now, it's going to be important here, Dave, for the 2 Lord riders, Ben Lord and Mick Lord. They just want to try and tag on to this lead battle.
Yeah, they do, but I think Mick unfortunately is just dropping back, and he's got Richard Holmes Williams all over him now. So he's got to stay on it, or Richard Holmes Williams doesn't hang about. He'll overtake you in a heartbeat. So Ben really needs to tag on, but these two front guys are, as you can see, they're pushing on pretty quick.
So let's see what Will Lathrop can do in second place. Oh, it was a rider down.
Dan Merrin.
Dan Merrin, is that rider appears to be okay, so he's just letting everyone make their way through. So it looks like the race will be able to go on as Stevenson holds on to the lead, but it looks to me like Lathrop, as we look at the treble 8 there, just Dan Merrin getting the bike picked back up again now. It looks to me like Will Lathrop's got a really nice line through that first chicane. He does seem to gain on Stevenson.
Yeah, he's a smooth rider. I mean, both of these guys can ride a bike. You can see the different lines, sweep in to try and open up the apex so that he can come out and put an attack on. This, I think, down into this bottom corners, if he can get a good run, that's where you'll see him be really aggressive. But you can see Reese has got out pretty well there, even putting his foot down.
Yeah, very hot into that final corner. Looking at the third place, Ben Lord just seems to be tagging on. He set his own fastest lap of the race, 43.159. And Ben Lord is closing up on both of these riders. We still have 8 laps to go. And one of the things, of course, with a track like this, it's not really the type of place where you'll be trading paint and getting the front wheel in on each other. So it's quite smooth. So Ben Lord with a bit of work to do to catch up here. But it's one of these things, of course, Dave, when you're the chasing rider, you see yourself closing, that's a great boost.
Yeah, it's always better to be chasing than having someone behind you. I don't know who that is.
That was the number 4, I think, on the bike. So that would be Steve Merrin, I believe. We'll have a look in a few moments when they, although I don't know if he's collided with Ryan Clark possibly, because they're both tumbling down the lap charts as Reece Stevenson, Will Lathrop, Ben Lord just tagging on. Richard Holmes Williams on the charge now, actually. He's in 4th place. Not really closing on the leaders, though. Mick Lord in 5th from Michael Med. Sadler in 7th place, Stuart Hardman. 9th for Gary Jacobs, just over the line now from Tom Stanford, Ian Stanford and Rob Overend a bit further behind as the leaders start to close up on some of the tail enders. Looks like Charlie Denton and Stephen Blatchford, as we've got some bit of crash damage further down the field, but the leaders making their way past the tail enders quite comfortably. And Lathrop right on the rear wheel. Oh, down the inside. Great move there from Will Lathrop. Now, can he hold on as Stevenson fights back out to the last corner? Stevenson back down the inside into the chicane. So 6 laps to go here, Durban. It's just starting to hot up a bit.
And what an overtake that was into the bottom, the last bend. But Reece showing his experience, let him run through and just drove back underneath him. And it's amazing to see how Reece carries a lot of curb compared to Will as well. So they've got very different styles, as you can see.
Just seemed to stand the bike up there to nip down the inside of the back marker. Lathrop, look at the focus in his eyes there, though, chasing down Stevenson in the race leader 1, 2, 3, looking cool, calm and collected at the front as they make their way back down to the final hairpin once again. Stevenson this time has got a bit of a cushion. And
all that fighting has actually allowed Ben to catch up as well, so if he can drag himself back a little bit, there's 6 laps to do it or 5 laps to do it, then this battle could be on for 2nd place.
Look out for 3rd place then, number 48 Ben Lord. You'll see him with the white helmet, orange and white leathers as they make their way through into the chicane once again. So Stevenson all of a sudden has got a small gap here, just under 7/10 of a second. Lathrop just shadowing in 2nd, and the man to watch here is Ben Lord, who once again has closed up on Lathrop, just pulling away now from the rest of the top 10. Mick Lord, Michael Mayer, Aaron Sandler, Stuart Hardman, Gary Jacobs and Tom Stanford as they pick their way past the number 40 of Jamie Merchant, currently in 19th position. And there is Michael Ned. It's this close battle just behind with Mick Lord and Aaron Sadler. Into the final corner they go. Reece Stevenson, fastest lap of the race from Will Lathrop. So up the front, they're pushing each other on for another great battle here, Derby, in the top 10.
Yeah, these guys are all fairly evenly paced by the looks of things. Mick just leading them through, so it's about, you know, parking his bike in the right spot. And we know we saw Adam Sadler, earlier in the race. He was fighting and he's not afraid to overtake people if he sees a gap. So he was taking the wide sweeping lines in the race earlier this morning. So we'll see if that works for him again on this corner, which is we're coming up to now.
Yeah, nice sweeping line through the corner there as we see Sadler on the number 441, just a little bit further behind. Leaders making their way over the line very shortly. Reece Stevenson leading and increasing the gap now from Lathrop to 1.2 seconds. Lord not really able to challenge in 3rd position so far. As Richard Holmes Williams on the move now ahead of this great little battle here. So Lord Med and Sadler all very close indeed into the chicane. So as the battle for the lead starts to settle down a bit, this one for 5th position just starting to get a bit closer now, with Mick Lord with a bit of work to do.
Yeah, he slipped down to 5th, and you better hold it, because if he's not, I'm going to be taking the mickey out of him later.
So there he is. He's got the treble 7 Michael Med right on his rear wheel. What he could do with doing here, Mick Lord, is just trying to tag onto the back of Richard Holmes-Williams, because he's looking quite strong into the closing part of the race.
Yeah, I think Richard Holmes-Williams obviously is pulled. He's got a back marker in between them as well now, which could be interesting coming into this chicane.
That looks like a Dan Baker, I think, 18.
Yeah, close them all up a little bit.
This is just bad luck, isn't it, because in fairness to the tail ender, they're just running their own race, and it's just as safe to use that line.
It's like a swarm of bees. They land on you, and you just hope and pray that you can make it through.
So it looks like just about threaded through. It doesn't look like there's been any change at the front either, as we look at the 441, the machine of Aaron Sadler, just starting to put the pressure back on Michael Med as the leaders make their way through. There's Stevenson, who's already got a nice little gap as they go into the last lap. They're just starting to thread their way through some of the tail enders. And the 1, 2, 3 of Reece Stevenson, well, he's really had to fight hard for this race. He's got one more lap to go, and all of a sudden, 2.6 seconds at the front.
Yeah, I think the back markers helped him out there. Again, you see that line over the curve that he's taken. I'm going to try that later. But yeah, he's pulled the pin there, and Lathropes, he was a bit more cautious, I think, going through the back markers. I think he had a tangle yesterday, so he's probably just make sure he gets through there unscathed. And obviously, Ben now is trying to use that to his advantage to catch up. I think he's just a bit too far back.
So Reece Stevenson coming down towards the final corner. He's had to work really hard for this one, but it looks like he's going to do it. Round the last corner he goes. Check flag about to go out. And Reece Stevenson takes the checkered flag. Will Lathrop will bring it home in 2nd place. 3.2 seconds adrift as it's a fight to the line a bit further back, with Ben Lord just ahead of Holmes-Williams. Mick Lord led, and Michael Med Sadler in 7th place. Should be Stuart Harbin, Gary Jacobs and Tom Stanford running up the top 10, so pretty decent race there, Dave.
Yeah, good race. Shame to lose a couple of 4 riders in the early stages, to be fair. The 2 Merrins and Bobby King as well, not finishing the race, but everybody else putting in a good, consistent performance. It was still quite close, actually, for a 140 race. It was competitive right through the field, so some good results there. Shout out as well to Darren Coleman coming in 16th.
So plenty of action throughout the field there as the